There is a sensation so common, so familiar, that for many of us it has become a part of our identity. It's the feeling of icy fingertips when everyone else is comfortable, the need for thick socks on a mild evening, the polite apology you offer before a handshake. We are talking about chronically cold hands and feet. We often dismiss it with a simple explanation: I just have bad circulation. We treat it as a personal quirk, a harmless and unchangeable feature of our own unique wiring. We buy hand warmers, we wear gloves indoors, and we accept it as our normal. But what if this normal is a lie? What if this simple, physical sensation is actually a sophisticated message? A silent alarm bell being rung by a system deep within your body that is in distress? What if, by ignoring it, you are making a profound and potentially devastating mistake? Stay with me on this journey, because by the end of our time together, you will learn the shocking secret of what your cold hands and feet are desperately trying to tell you. You will understand the one deadly mistake that millions of people make every single day when they dismiss this symptom. And you will be equipped with the knowledge to decode this silent language before a quiet whisper becomes a desperate scream. Before we can decipher the warning signals, we must first develop a deep appreciation for the magnificent system that is designed to keep you warm. Your body is a finely tuned, self-regulating furnace. At its core, your heart is the master pump, and your 60,000 miles of blood vessels are the intricate network of pipes that carry warm, oxygenated blood to every corner of your body. This is your internal central heating system. The warm blood that leaves your core is what maintains the temperature in your extremities, your hands, your feet, your nose, and your ears. But this is not a simple passive system. It is an intelligent and highly responsive one, constantly making decisions to ensure your survival. The primary directive of your body, above all else, is to protect your vital organs: your brain, your heart, your lungs, your liver, and your kidneys. These are housed in your torso, your body's core. Your body achieves this through a brilliant process called thermoregulation, managed by a command center in your brain called the hypothalamus. When you are exposed to a cold environment, the hypothalamus immediately initiates a process called vasoconstriction. Tiny muscles that surround the small arteries or arterioles in your extremities are given a signal to contract. This narrows the pipes, reducing the flow of warm blood to the surface of your skin, your hands, and your feet. Why would it do this? To conserve heat. By keeping the warm blood closer to your vital organs, your body ensures that your core temperature remains stable, even if it means sacrificing the comfort of your fingers and toes. This is a survival trade-off. It is the reason why, on a chilly day, your hands and feet are the very first parts of your body to feel cold. This is a normal, healthy, and intelligent response. When you return to a warm environment, the opposite happens. The hypothalamus signals for vasodilation. The muscles relax, the pipes open up, and warm blood rushes back into your extremities, often causing that familiar pink, tingly feeling. For many people, this is the beginning and end of the story. But for those with chronically cold hands and feet, this survival mechanism is either being triggered inappropriately, or it is a symptom of a much deeper, more systemic problem that has nothing to do with the temperature of the room. Let's begin our investigation with the most common and often overlooked culprits, the factors of our modern lifestyle that can throw this delicate system out of balance. The first is a state of being that defines the lives of millions: chronic stress. Your body is equipped with an ancient and powerful fight-or-flight response, orchestrated by your sympathetic nervous system. When you perceive a threat, whether it's a looming deadline, a financial worry, or a traffic jam, your body releases the stress hormones adrenaline and cortisol. This cascade has one goal: to prepare you for immediate physical action. And one of the very first things it does is initiate powerful vasoconstriction in your extremities. Why? Because in an ancient fight for survival, you wouldn't want to lose precious blood and heat from a potential wound to your hand or foot. The blood is shunted to your core and your large muscles. If you are living in a state of chronic, low-grade stress, your sympathetic nervous system is always partially engaged. The stand-down signal is never fully sent. This means your blood vessels are in a state of sustained, low-level constriction. You are, in a very real sense, perpetually preparing for a fight that never comes, and your cold hands and feet are a direct casualty of this constant state of alarm. Next, we must consider the profound impact of a sedentary lifestyle. Movement is the second pump of your circulatory system. While your heart is the primary pump, the contraction of the large muscles in your legs and arms plays a crucial role in squeezing your veins and helping to push blood back towards the heart, promoting healthy circulation. When you sit for prolonged periods, this secondary pump is disengaged. Blood flow to your lower extremities becomes sluggish and stagnant. Your calf muscles, often called your second heart, are dormant. This lack of movement and poor circulation naturally leads to colder feet. The solution here is not necessarily an intense workout, but consistent, regular movement throughout the day to keep the circulatory system flowing as it was designed to. We must also look at what we put into our bodies. Nicotine from cigarettes or vaping is one of the most potent vasoconstrictors known to science. It acts directly on the muscles of your blood vessel walls, causing them to clamp down and severely restrict blood flow. This is one of the primary reasons why smokers have such a dramatically increased risk for all circulatory problems, and chronically cold hands and feet are often the earliest and most obvious sign of this damage. Dehydration can also be a surprising culprit. Your blood is mostly water. When you are dehydrated, your blood volume decreases. With less fluid to pump, your body may respond by conserving what it has, reducing flow to the extremities. Even certain medications, such as some beta blockers for high blood pressure, decongestants, and migraine medications, can have vasoconstriction as a side effect. It is always worth reviewing your medications with your doctor if you are experiencing new or worsening symptoms. These lifestyle factors are the low-hanging fruit, the first place to look when decoding the message of your cold extremities. But if you have addressed these and the problem persists, it is time to look deeper, to the major systems of the body that may be sending you a more urgent signal. Our first deep dive takes us to the master gland of your metabolism, the silent conductor of your body's energy orchestra, your thyroid. The thyroid is a small, butterfly-shaped gland in your neck that produces hormones, primarily thyroxine, T4, and triiodothyronine, T3. These hormones are the gas pedal for your entire body. They travel to every single cell and dictate the rate at which that cell burns energy to produce heat. This is your basal metabolic rate, the heat your body generates at rest. When your thyroid is not producing enough of these crucial hormones, a condition known as hypothyroidism or an underactive thyroid, it is like turning down the thermostat on your entire internal furnace. Your whole metabolism slows down. Your cells are no longer burning fuel at an efficient rate, and your overall heat production plummets. One of the earliest and most classic signs of this internal cooldown is a profound intolerance to cold, which manifests most noticeably as constantly cold hands and feet. This is not a circulation problem in the pipes, it is a heat production problem at the source. The furnace is simply not running hot enough. This is often accompanied by a constellation of other subtle clues: persistent fatigue, unexplained weight gain, dry skin, hair loss or thinning, constipation, and brain fog. If your cold hands and feet are part of this larger picture, it is a crucial signal that your body's thermostat may be malfunctioning. Next, we must examine the plumbing of the system itself. If the thyroid is the furnace, your arteries are the pipes. Sometimes the problem is not a lack of heat, but a blockage in the pipes that prevents the warm blood from reaching its destination. This is the world of circulatory disorders. The most common is peripheral artery disease, or PAD. This is essentially atherosclerosis, the same process of plaque buildup that causes heart attacks, but it occurs in the arteries that supply blood to your legs and feet. Over years, these arteries become narrowed and hardened by plaques made of cholesterol and inflammatory cells. This narrowing physically restricts the amount of blood that can flow through. Your feet, being at the very end of the line, are the first to suffer from this reduced flow, leading to a feeling of coldness. A key clue that distinguishes PAD is that it is often asymmetrical, affecting one leg more than the other. It is also frequently accompanied by pain, cramping, or fatigue in the calf muscles during walking, a symptom called claudication, which is relieved by rest. Other signs can include shiny skin on the legs, poor toenail growth, or sores on the feet that are slow to heal. Cold feet in the context of PAD is a serious warning sign that the same disease process is likely happening in the arteries of your heart and brain. A different kind of circulatory problem, one that is more dramatic and episodic, is Raynaud's phenomenon. This is not a problem of a permanent blockage, but of a hyperreactive and spastic response of the blood vessels themselves. In people with Raynaud's, exposure to cold or even emotional stress can trigger an extreme and exaggerated vasospasm, where the small arteries in the fingers and toes clamp down so tightly that blood flow is almost completely cut off. This leads to a very distinct and often alarming sequence of color changes. The affected digits will first turn a stark, waxy white due to the lack of blood. As the tissues are deprived of oxygen, they may then turn a bluish color called cyanosis. Finally, as the spasm subsides and blood rushes back into the area, the digits will turn a bright red and are often accompanied by a throbbing, tingling, or painful sensation. While for many, primary Raynaud's is a benign, albeit uncomfortable condition, secondary Raynaud's can be a sign of an underlying autoimmune disease, like lupus or scleroderma, where the immune system is mistakenly attacking the body's own tissues, including the blood vessels. Our investigation now moves from the pipes to the very fluid that flows within them, your blood. For your internal heating system to work efficiently, the blood itself must be healthy and capable of carrying its precious cargo of oxygen. This brings us to anemia, a condition where you lack enough healthy red blood cells to carry adequate oxygen to your body's tissues. The most common cause is iron deficiency. Iron is a critical component of hemoglobin, the protein in your red blood cells that binds to and transports oxygen. Without enough iron, you can't make enough healthy hemoglobin. A similar issue occurs with a deficiency in vitamin B12, which is also essential for red blood cell production. When your body is anemic, it is in a state of oxygen deprivation. Your cells cannot perform their metabolic functions efficiently, which means they cannot produce enough energy or heat. This leads to a general feeling of coldness, particularly in the hands and feet. The classic companion symptoms of anemia are profound fatigue, weakness, pale skin, shortness of breath, and sometimes dizziness or lightheadedness. Your cold extremities, in this case, are a signal that the very fuel delivery system of your body is compromised. The next system we must explore is the body's intricate wiring, your nervous system. Sometimes the sensation of cold is not due to a lack of blood flow or a problem with temperature at all. It is a problem of a faulty signal. Your sense of temperature is communicated to your brain via your peripheral nerves. If these nerves become damaged, a condition known as peripheral neuropathy, they can begin to send incorrect or chaotic signals. They might send signals of pain, tingling, numbness, or, in many cases, a persistent and unpleasant sensation of coldness, even when your skin is warm to the touch. It is a phantom cold, a trick of the wiring. The single most common cause of peripheral neuropathy is diabetes. Chronically high blood sugar levels are incredibly toxic to both the small blood vessels that supply the nerves and to the nerves themselves, causing them to degenerate over time. This is why meticulous foot care is so critical for diabetics. The cold sensation is often just one part of a symphony of neuropathic symptoms that typically start in the toes and can gradually progress up the legs. Finally, we must return to the master pump itself, your heart. If the pump is weak, it simply cannot generate enough pressure to effectively push the warm blood all the way to the furthest outposts of your body. Conditions like congestive heart failure, where the heart muscle is damaged and weakened, can lead to poor circulation and cold extremities. Similarly, Chronically low blood pressure or hypotension means there is simply not enough force in the system to ensure adequate perfusion of your hands and feet. In these cases, the coldness is a direct sign of a central problem with the engine of the entire system. It is often accompanied by other signs of poor circulation, such as dizziness, fatigue, and, in the case of heart failure, swelling in the legs and ankles. Now that we have journeyed through the body and explored these many potential causes, we arrive at the most critical question. How do you know when your cold hands and feet are just a harmless quirk, and when are they a serious call to action? You must learn to look for the context, to see the accompanying clues. Red flags that should prompt you to see a doctor include asymmetry, where one hand or foot is consistently colder than the other. Any changes in skin color, like the white, blue, and red of Raynaud's, or a persistent pale or bluish tinge. The presence of other sensations such as pain, numbness, tingling, or a burning feeling. Changes in the texture of your skin, like thinning, shininess, or the development of sores or ulcers that are slow to heal. And most importantly, if your cold hands and feet are accompanied by any of the systemic symptoms we have discussed, profound fatigue, unexplained weight changes, shortness of breath, or hair loss. These are the signs that your cold extremities are not a standalone issue, but are one piece of a much larger puzzle. This brings us back to the promise we made at the beginning of our journey. What is the deadly mistake? And what is the shocking secret? The deadly mistake is normalization. It is the act of accepting a persistent, abnormal signal from your body as just the way you are. It is the dismissal of a symptom that could be the earliest, most subtle, and most treatable sign of a developing disease. The shocking secret is this: your body speaks a very simple language. It does not have a unique and specific symptom for every possible illness. It has a limited vocabulary, and changes in temperature, particularly in your extremities, are one of its most fundamental words. Your cold hands and feet are not the problem. They are the messenger. And the secret is that this messenger has often been sent from a place you would never think to look. The message may not be about your circulation at all. It may be a desperate plea from your thyroid gland, a quiet warning from your overworked heart, a subtle clue from your blood cells, or a sign that your entire metabolic system is out of balance. By learning to listen to this message, to see it in its full context, you are transforming a simple, annoying sensation into a profound and powerful tool for self-awareness and preventative health. You are no longer ignoring the alarm bell. You are walking over to the control panel, looking at the blinking light, and taking intelligent, informed action before the entire system goes critical. This is the difference between being a passive passenger in your own body and being the alert, engaged, and empowered captain of your own health.